took the club to court. Kevin Keegan brought his fancied Fulham side to Priestfield, but it was Adi Akinbaye who took centre stage to put the Gills back in the playoff places. The result became irrelevant. A Fulham fan had died following a fight minutes after the match. The football club now faces its most difficult week. The whole of football is in mourning over the death of 24-year-old Fulham fan Matthew Fox, who lost his life supporting the team he loved.
Good afternoon, everybody. I want to read a statement on behalf of Mr. Al Fayed and everyone here at Fulham Football Club, players, staff. This has been an appalling tragedy and a pointless loss of a young life. Our thoughts are obviously with Matthew's family, and needless to say, Fulham Football Club will do everything it possibly can to comfort the family during this distressing time.
Back in Gillingham, the football club, the fans and the local community are stunned by the news. They never thought it could happen here.
Of all the games and all the years that I've been coming to Gillingham, I have never seen anything quite as disgraceful as the way that the supporters were acting. Never have I seen anything like that. And that was pre the aggravation and the sad killing. It was our maximum gate of the season, 10,500 people. They knew that there was aggravation because of, shall we say, the Akinbaye situation, because they nearly bought Akinbaye. And when he scored twice and it was a crucial game for both sides, then the aggravation started. They were throwing missiles into this crowd, and there was women and children in this crowd.
Well, I normally stood up here most games, and normally the police are down that tunnel and they're stopping people. When the goal went in, both sets of fans were climbing the fences trying to get at one another, and the police. There was one policeman in particular was standing with his arms folded. He wasn't doing nothing to stop it, and there was no police out here, none at all.
The Fulham fans were climbing up over the top when we scored the second goal. They was up over the top, trying to get the supporters. Then the police came up. I don't know where they went then.
The police were letting them out. I turned around, I said to somebody, I said, they're letting them out early. When it was Millwall Watford, they kept them in for a good 15 minutes afterwards. They let them out, and before them gates were opening, there was no police around here, none at all. There was a couple of stewards here, one was a girl. They came up here, there was a big fella, whether it was him, leather jacket on, he must have been 5'8", 9 tall, quite a big fella. And he stood there and he said, if you want it, you can have it. And with that, the Gillingham fans started running back in. By that time, a load more came out, pushed their way out, and that's when the scuffles broke out. And then they started running back down here. And the time I got up the top there, they said someone had been killed. But they came up the alleyway to look for trouble. You know, if they'd have come out the gate there, straight down the road like they're supposed to do, he'd have been alive today, wouldn't he?
I was in the boardroom, and the Football Licensing Authority came in to me and said that we've had an incident outside the gates at the Priestfield Road end, and that a lad has been seriously injured. And almost within the same breath, he was told that in fact the lad had died. And I mean, I can't tell you how shocked we were. It completely killed the afternoon, and we were just in a state of shock. I stayed in the ground till about 8 o'clock that night, working with the friends of the deceased, and they were Fulham fans, and trying to just be with them, really. I think they were all in shock. They were very upset, of course, as you would be, as well as our own stewards, who handled the game magnificently, and were called, upon to do things far in excess of what they're trained to do, possibly. And I mean, no one wants to see the sight of someone dead lying in the street as a result of a fantastic football match, irrespective of the circumstances surrounding it. And I left here at probably 8 o'clock on Saturday night, and I was completely drained, emotionally and mentally, physically. You know, I'd lost all my energy really, and it was distressing. I've never seen a situation like that or witnessed it, and I hope I never have to again. And very, very difficult situation for everyone here connected with the club.
Well, I'm sorry to have to say that the news that we got earlier from John in Gillingham is true. Kent Police have just confirmed that a football supporter was stabbed to death at the Gillingham football ground today, and apparently a number of fans have been taken to hospital following running fights inside and outside the ground. I can assure you that when we get further information...
The thing that really astonished me driving back from Priestfield, and I had this on, and I thought, well, you're a legal man, you're a lawyer. How can you come out and broadcast all this stuff when it has not been substantiated? And that really did surprise me. And he was going off at the deep end purely on hearsay. And people were ringing up saying, well, they'd heard this and they'd heard that. And a lot of what they heard was totally untrue.
Was the manager about? I think he's in his office. Because it was. Could I have a chat with Nicky Southall, please? Yeah, no problem.
Tony Hudd covers Gillingham for local newspaper Kent Today.
Don't ask too many difficult questions.
On that Saturday night, he sat in the press box as the full horror of what had happened unfolded.
It must have been about 5 minutes after the match had finished. Rumours were spreading. And then we asked the press steward if Mark Patterson, one of the Gillingham players, could come up and we could interview him, and Adi Akinbaye was also asked up as well. And Mark was the first up, and he said, he was very ashen-faced, and he said, have you heard that someone's died? And I said, well, you know, it was rumours, but nothing confirmed. He said, yeah, someone's been killed. And Adi came up and he said the same. And then we started getting bits and pieces of information. You know, we press guys have a reputation of being callous, cold-hearted and all the rest of it, but it does get to you. And we were absolutely shocked. I mean, I never thought in a million years that in my time in covering professional football, I'd ever attend a game where someone was killed, that a young man would lose his life. That's frightening. That's terrible. And it wasn't until Sunday, late on Sunday, that we started getting the truth behind it all. So that it was a long time. A lot of time evolved between what happened just outside the Gillingham end of the ground and then as the facts came out.
It was a sad weekend for football. The riots at a Premier League match put into context by the tragic events outside Priestfield.
Some of it was very good and some of it was awful. Some of it was absolutely awful, and I think some of them went on hearsay. Some of the quality broadsheets worked terribly hard on it, and you could see that, and came up with a lot of very interesting information about the guy who lost his life. But some of it I thought was disgraceful.
How are you?
Well, not too bad, thanks, yeah. First game after the incident, of course, and what made it worse, of course, was that I didn't say, but the weekend it all happened, last weekend, was also the anniversary of my son's death, which was the last weekend in March. Is a bad weekend for me anyway, you know, and it's kind of ironic, I suppose, that it all happened at the same time. But, you have to just try and, I think, have wide shoulders and live with it and run with it. And yeah, it was just a difficult weekend, you know. I was probably at my lowest ebb, I think, last weekend. You know, a few days on now, and obviously we've got to just get on with it now and get on with the task in hand, I think.
Have a look at your markings round the corner. Have a look who you've got, what you're doing off set pieces against.
George, no.
They've made 5 changes, lads, and I ain't sure who's going to go in the box. Apart from Smudger, I think Gals has got near post space. What have you got? Nicky's got the far post, the rest are going to have to pick up. Matty, you're going to have to find someone and pick someone up.
The match at Walsall goes ahead just 3 days later. It's a difficult game for the players in emotional circumstances. It's a tough time for the fans too. Gillingham's true supporters feel only sympathy and sadness.
Won't go away completely because it'll never be forgotten. It'll always be in the back of your mind. but you've got to drop it for a while, because everywhere we go, now we go to Grimsby, it'll be police all over the place. Police it's unbelievable. It's just not what you want.
A testing night for the players and fans does not have a happy ending. The team haven't done well on their travels this season, but after the events of the last week, the players seem happy to leave Priestfield behind. It's their second away trip in 5 days, this time to promotion rivals Grimsby.
Should have wrapped it up from a couple of yards, you know. He missed what would be called a sitter. But having said that, their goalkeeper made a magnificent save from Darryl Clare, and we went close on another couple of occasions. But I think the way the game went, it wasn't a spectacle, and a draw is probably a fair result anyway.
It's a useful point for Tony Pulis and the club. In part 2, he goes back to Grimsby on a spying mission. Football management is a precarious job. The pressure is unrelenting. Promotion is close now for Tony Pulis, so a spying mission to watch Saturday's opponents is important business.
You could do a trip like this twice a week. If you thought it was going to be worthwhile, then you would do it. I wouldn't do it if there was nothing at the end of it. The game tonight is important for us for Saturday. It's an opportunity for us, for Lindsay and myself, to go and watch Luton, who we play Saturday, so we can get a good picture of the shape, the pattern, and their players. And then we've given the lads the day off today, and we'll start training and work towards Saturday's game as from tomorrow. We do a lot of shape, a lot of pattern. We try and prepare the players the best we possibly can. And then, fingers crossed, as soon as 3 o'clock comes Saturday afternoon, you hope and pray that things will go for you.
Another long drive to Grimsby could be avoided, but Pulis places great importance on preparation. It's other aspects of the job he's not so keen on.
I enjoy my coaching, I enjoy being out on a training ground. I don't enjoy the office work that much. And they'll soon find you out. If you're not good at your coaching, if you're asking them to do things that they're not capable of doing, they'll soon find you out. I think the important thing is to find out the level of the players you're working with, find out their characters, their temperament, and try and get the best out of them you possibly can, both on and off the pitch. Again, I rely on Lindsay and I rely on Wayne. Wayne works in the treatment room, and any football club, any professional football club will tell you that if players have got any problems or grievances, the physio's really their ear, and they'll speak to him. And usually, if Wayne feels it's necessary, he'll tell me. He doesn't tell me everything, but if he feels it's important to tell me, then he'll certainly do that.
Wayne Jones is the club's physio. He's having a busy week.
Hey. Just put your finger right on where.
The injury list is getting longer, but Pulis needs all his players fit for the run-in. The physio and the manager need a good understanding.
Okay, just relax, boy. He is the hardest manager I've ever worked for, But being Welsh, I love him to death. No, he never pressurizes. We always talk and we always have a chat, either prior to a match or even before training every day. And he'll ask me what's the situation, as he has today. And I'll say the ones that can't play or the ones that shouldn't train, etc. And and then he goes against me and trains them. But no, he doesn't. He listens, and obviously he's a pro, and he wants them fit for Saturday. So you know, he's very good in that respect. The 11 that will start, whatever 11 player will start, Tony, I'm almost sure that probably 5 or 6 of them will be carrying injuries. And it's just keeping your fingers crossed, wrapping them up in cotton wool before the game and afterwards, and just going from one game to the next. And I think with a small squad, you've got to do that. And it's nice that you get 1 or 2 players that can play in different positions as well, so you're not really tied down to specific, positions. But we'll manage. Whatever happened on Saturday, we'll have 11 players out there anyway, whether they fit or not.
Tony Pulis and his number 2 Lindsay Parsons are paying their second visit to Grimsby in a week. But it's Luton, Gillingham's next opponents, who they're concentrating on. Tony Pulis sees Luton pull off a shock 1-0 win. He now knows the size of the task Gillingham face.
It's going to be a difficult game for a Saturday. They've played ever so well and it looks as though they're going to beat what I consider to be one of the better teams in the league.
Anyone in particular who you picked out tonight?
Nah, they're generally strong. They've got good experience, good movement. The keeper's played well tonight for them. But Oldfield works hard, has got good experience, and they're experienced at the back, and they'll be very difficult to break down.
Any plans for the team on Saturday?
Yeah. But I'll keep them to myself.
The 2 away games have allowed the club a much-needed breathing space, but the return to Priestfield brings the events of a fortnight ago back into the spotlight.
No, I've never seen so many police at Priestfield, even when we played Chelsea in that pre-season game 3 years ago. This is a C+. I don't even know what a C+ is. It's the highest category we've ever had. But you see, of course, the police, as we, are in a no-win situation. If we continue as normal, people will accuse us of not taking it seriously. And as the police commander, match commander today, has just said to me, if the police do nothing and don't have a big presence here today, they can be accused of not taking it seriously. So it's really a bit of a no-win situation. Some people obviously accuse them today of being overkill, insofar as having too many police here and overreacting, if you like. But it's one of those situations that you just have to do what you think is right. You can't not do it. After the tragedy 2 weeks ago, I had more pressure on me than I've ever had in my life, I think, and I think that was starting to show. I hadn't slept much, and I had enormous press attention, and it wasn't so much the press attention, it was the fact that some areas of the press were probably just trying to find a niche in our armour, and they were just trying to find that one little thing they could pick on. And some absolutely absurd things were coming out, and they were just jumping on every one little issue, and it was extraordinary, and I just didn't know which way to turn at the end. And I was actually going to take the children away sometime later on in the Easter holidays, and I managed to persuade the local travel agent to change a flight for me, and I managed to get away in the last week, just to get away from everyone and get away from football, because I was at the stage, strangely, for the first time in my life, where I was sick and tired of it all.
What are you trying to do? Easy, lads, too easy.
The victory leaves Gillingham in the last playoff place as the season reaches its final stage. At the start of the season, 17-year-old Jimmy Corbett was training with the youth team, but when injuries depleted the already small first-team squad, he was given a go. The goals came straight away. The fresh face and slight frame hid a footballing maturity. Corbett will carry a heavy responsibility over the crucial closing weeks of the season. It's quite a burden on such young shoulders.
The programme seller. I used to do that the season before I got taken on YTS. So I used to, well, it weren't every game, but I come to a fair few when I was doing that. At the time, I think I just come to Gillingham. Sometimes I had training before, like on weekday nights I had training and come down here. Like, it'd be funny, like, it seems strange, like, seeing programmes, like, but I just never thought I'd be playing there.
Corbett is selected for the Easter Monday trip to Southend. The match is shrouded in controversy. The club have allegedly received threatening letters from Fulham fans, but the game goes ahead without trouble. Corbett has the best chance of the match, but Gillingham have to settle for a point against the division's bottom side.
Unfortunately, I think that the club have received some letters. I mean, obviously, how genuine they are is not clear. You know, obviously, no one's going to put their name to them. So, obviously, quite rightly, the police and the football club have got to take those very seriously. Quite rightly, there's extra police presence at matches we've played recently, quite understandably so. Obviously, from our point of view, it's a bit worrying because obviously no one wants to be associated with that sort of thing. But hopefully, it's business as usual. You know, we've put a lot of supporters here to Southend today. They've hopefully had a reasonably enjoyable day out. We didn't quite get the 3 points, but it may prove that point will be very useful coming into the season. And hopefully, you know, we'll rise above that sort of death threat or scenario, and hopefully enjoy the games we've got left. Maybe as far as the Wembley itself, who knows?
Next week on the football club, 3 games to go and the pressure is piling up if Gillingham are to realise that Wembley dream.
You're the fucking blame as well as that cunt. And you fucking, he's not marking no one. They've thrown it over his head into the lad's fucking feet. Get the cunt there.
Were you done?
Yeah!
But the away day blues are banished as Gillingham set themselves up for last day drama.
Northampton have beaten Fulham 1-0. Rhodes have got beat, Wrexham have drawn. So we go back in it now. We're back in it.